it is that we tend to be multidisciplinary. We tend to be exceptionally curious people who are the go-to people for complex problems inside an organization. So if you've got one person who seems to be one step away from the answer to pretty much everything, that's who we're interested in. And I like to think of the organization as the last generalists. Increasingly, as you go through graduate school, you go through your career, you're instructed specialize, 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 which means there are not a lot of people left who have deliberately trained themselves when you don't know what the question is. The thought was that you cannot profess to be a generalist in this field, or a field that serves the world with generalists without serving the world. The invitation process, which includes a review of a portfolio of work, a lengthy interview. I did one here today. It took all morning. And a review of feedback from your peers. And then that's all put together and considered by an invitation committee.
I mean, what are the benefits for the members of your organization?
The benefits are primarily in, first, access to experts in a lot of different disciplines at a very high level. And at a very fast level. The level of cooperation among members is extraordinary. I've had people leave me in their offices alone with the keys to work through the files and answer my questions. It's understood that if somebody comes to you with a problem, you'll make time and you'll find the people in your office perhaps who can help. The second is access to thought leaders at the top of the industry. We have 2 meetings a year in the United States or Canada, and we're considering having them elsewhere, especially here, Cannes in spring. Last year we had a symposium in Istanbul. And one of the characteristics of those meetings is that the presenters are very frank. That you can go to any number of places to get information on what's going on in capital markets and rates and vacancy and transactions. Our presentations start with a presumption that you already have all this stuff and get into the questions of why. So it can be daunting to be a presenter in one of these meetings knowing that you may make a statement and have somebody rise from the audience and say, actually, I built that building, or I'm on the board of that investment organization, and let's talk for a minute about it. But that frankness and that level of really being close to the decision is key. Our plans in general in Europe are to expand in part to reach critical mass. We have a delightful chapter here that through an awful lot of hard work has had successful conferences, an international conference in Istanbul, a conference in Luxembourg that was very specialized recently, and we have them coming up in Paris and in London. But for that to be sustainable, it needs to be spread across a larger audience and to not be quite such a burden to make it happen. We're so impressed by what's happened in Europe because it's really been 3 or 4 years of effort to go from a scattering to a chapter. That we're going to MIPIM Japan in May, where we're convening the 4 or 5 Japanese members that we have, plus people they've identified who are of interest, because now we can show them what's been done in Europe, starting from a similar base, maybe a little bigger.